Holy mackerel. King Charles, you've got to get her off that royal website. And I'm not even joking now, because Meghan Markle has now formally endorsed one of the biggest online trolls of Catherine, the Princess of Wales. This is the care package to the notorious JTB. And trust me, Markle knows exactly what this man is all about.
Reports claim Meghan Markle sent a gift package complete with a royal-style crest to a social media personality who has drawn criticism for posts about Princess Catherine. The reaction online was immediate and intense. Calls quickly appeared demanding action, with some people asking for titles to be removed or changes to official royal listings.
This is an encouragement to the rest of them to continue their vile, disgusting attacks. She is endorsing them, and she is also then endorsing their vile behavior to continue.
Yet through all the debate, one question kept coming up. Why has King Charles not publicly commented? Attention soon shifted to the reported recipient. According to longtime observers of his online activity, critics argue that some of his remarks about Catherine went beyond ordinary disagreement and became highly personal. They claim several posts crossed a line that many people found unacceptable. Among the comments frequently mentioned are reports that he described Catherine as mediocre.
The Duchess sent me a gift. I'm not exaggerating when I say this was nowhere on my 2026 bingo card. Completely stunned, completely grateful. Thank you, Meg.
After her return to public duties following cancer treatment, some observers alleged he made dismissive remarks about the positive coverage surrounding her appearance. When an article praised Catherine for handling muddy conditions in heels, critics say he responded by mocking the story rather than engaging with it seriously. Because of that background, many people expressed surprise over reports that Meghan allegedly thanked him. Rather than a public reply or a simple online interaction, reports claimed a gift package containing tea, candles, and a handwritten note featuring a crowned M was sent.
I mean, this is something else. This really is utterly disgusting. And I'm not shocked because we've known about it for some time, but I'm shocked that she has been so blatant about it. But of course, she is being blatant because she and Harry believe they're untouchable because the king still has not taken any action to remove them from that website.
According to those reports, the recipient shared his excitement online, and that is when confusion quickly turned into criticism. Many questioned whether such a package could have been sent accidentally. Mailing a parcel requires specific information and planning, leading some observers to wonder how the connection came about. For some critics, that question became even more noticeable because of comments Meghan had made only days earlier. During an event focused on online responsibility, Meghan encouraged people to think carefully about their behavior on digital platforms. She urged audiences to be intentional and spoke about creating healthier online spaces for everyone. Think before you like, before you share, she said, while encouraging people to make thoughtful choices. Because of those remarks, some critics believe there was a contradiction.
There's been no further discussions about Harry's dukedom being taken. So now they're emboldened. They have gone against everything that was decided at the Sandringham Agreement. They have gone against everything that they promised Queen Elizabeth they wouldn't do. And they are blatant about it. And yet still nothing seems to get done. But this is bullying. This is encouraging people to bully Catherine.
Shortly after promoting kindness online, reports suggested a gift had been sent to someone whose commentary had already attracted significant criticism from Catherine's supporters. Social media users responded by repeating the phrase, "Make it make sense." The discussion continued beyond that point. Some commentators revisited earlier reports involving other professional associations connected to Meghan and argued they saw a broader pattern developing. Their criticism was not simply that questionable behavior had been overlooked, but that certain voices appeared to receive attention despite controversy. Whether those conclusions are fair remains open to interpretation, but the reports reignited an ongoing debate that has existed for years. The reaction extended beyond disappointment, with many online users calling for accountability and directing questions toward King Charles while asking whether any official response would follow.
Look, she's even using the royal cipher. We have a ludicrous situation where a former member of the royal family who claims to be all about online welfare is now backing one of the biggest internet trolls of Catherine, the Princess of Wales. This is unsustainable.
Take them off the royal website, strip the titles. "Do it now," became a message repeated across many posts and comment sections as the debate intensified. Some people argued that if the king knew about the controversy and chose not to comment, his silence would naturally become part of the discussion. Others suggested that any future attempt at reconciliation with Meghan could spark even more debate about the monarchy. Beneath the frustration, though, one question continued to stand out. If the reported gift package was real, it would have required the recipient's contact information. For critics, that raised questions about how the connection was made and whether there was any awareness of the online conversations involving Princess Catherine.
A bit of a same story, you know what I'm saying? A bit of a same story. When the bosses of Netflix, who have now dumped her, right? But when the bosses of Netflix saw this particular thing, they were aghast.
For many observers, the uncertainty only added another layer to the story. Some commentators claimed there were very few simple explanations left. In their view, either the recipient was already known to Meghan's team in some capacity, or the situation involved circumstances that had not been publicly explained. Without official clarification, speculation spread rapidly across social media. Theories soon became increasingly dramatic. Some suggested the account holder may have received unusual attention, while others wondered if there had been undisclosed communication behind the scenes. A handful even called for additional scrutiny into how a well-known public figure could reportedly end up sending a gift to someone whose online commentary had attracted criticism from royal supporters.
This shows us that Meghan is observing what's going on the internet, because she's sending packages, care packages to hate accounts.
Okay, first of all, staying off the internet is like saying, I'm staying off oxygen. You know, our entire lives are ruled by it.
Right.
Second of all, we know that her recollections have varied many, many times. You know, like she didn't Google Harry. Wink.
It is important to remember that none of these claims have been publicly verified. Even so, many online users were quick to discuss the possibility because they believed similar conversations had surfaced before. Critics pointed to earlier reports involving Harry and Meghan's interactions with outspoken online supporters. Years ago, stories circulated claiming the couple had reached out to a controversial social media personality known as Henry's cousin to express appreciation. At the time, some dismissed the report as an isolated event. For people who closely followed these stories, however, the discussion did not end there. Another outspoken figure was later reported to have been connected with one of the couple's Netflix projects, renewing criticism from observers who believed they saw a repeating pattern. Later, during a visit to Australia, some royal commentators claimed that a vocal online critic of Catherine appeared to have unusual proximity to Meghan during official events. Attention also turned to the Invictus Games.
This reminds me of when Harry and Meghan actually called some of the people on, remember when they called some of the people on Twitter that had been so vile against the British royal family to thank them for creating a campaign for them?
Yes.
Again, it's just like, do you not understand the optics of platforming these people who are so vicious towards your family members?
Where Meghan publicly thanked supporters for all that you do. Many people viewed the statement as a routine expression of gratitude, while others interpreted it differently when considered alongside previous reports. More recently, some online commentators claimed there were additional digital interactions involving the same account before reports of the alleged gift package emerged. Viewed individually, each event could be explained in different ways. A phone call, a guest appearance, access at an event, an online interaction, or a reported gift. But critics argue that when those moments are placed together, they create a narrative they believe deserves closer examination, even though the underlying claims remain disputed and open to interpretation. Some critics argue that the situation goes beyond simple oversight. In their opinion, it can appear as though outspoken online supporters receive recognition through conversations.
Bit of a same story. When the bosses of Netflix, who have now dumped her, right? But when the bosses of Netflix saw this particular thing, they were aghast. Not because finally she got round to doing some promotion for the TV show that she didn't really want to do any promotion for, but the fact that she brought up the fact that they were going into business with her.
Invitations, acknowledgements, or other forms of appreciation when they strongly defend Meghan or criticize those they see as her opponents. For people who share that view, the concern is that this kind of perception could encourage increasingly heated online behavior. They argue that if users believe attention or recognition might follow, the atmosphere could become more confrontational instead of more respectful. At the same time, questions have also been raised about Meghan's absence from several events where many expected her to appear. Prince Harry has recently attended a number of high-profile occasions, including a polo match and a cookbook launch in Los Angeles hosted by chef Jose Andres. What drew attention for some observers was not Harry's attendance, but Meghan's absence. Jose Andres is often described as being friendly with Meghan and has been connected to one of her projects, leading some people to assume she might attend as well. Instead, Harry appeared on his own once again. That prompted a range of reactions. Some commentators joked that the Duke seemed to be attending celebrity gatherings by himself more often, while others speculated about what the separate appearances might mean for the couple.
There was a moment where Harry and Meghan had called a troll, a really well-known troll called Henry's cousin. Now, you can be forgiven for thinking, you know what, once you could say it might have been a mistake, although this troll was so vile and so disgusting with their attacks that they did on people, against people's children, all sorts of things that everybody knew about them. You wouldn't even have to search deeply on Twitter to find this person, but Harry and Meghan didn't know about it, and they gave this person a personal phone call.
One royal commentator even referenced Meghan and Harry's well-known salt and pepper comparison, where Meghan once suggested they naturally moved through life together. The commentator remarked, "Lately, they don't move together at all," adding, "They're looking more like oil and water." According to some critics, many of the couple's public appearances have seemed carefully planned, pointing to courtside basketball games, celebrity concerts, red carpets, and widely photographed outings. Those observers argue that such events project a polished image while offering few glimpses into everyday private life. Then another report attracted attention. Rumors began circulating that Meghan had filmed a surprise cameo as herself in a project involving Lily Collins. According to speculation, news of the appearance surfaced earlier than expected, prompting questions about how details may have become public. Some reports even suggested producers could reconsider the cameo, although no official confirmation has been provided. Even so, critics argue the episode highlights a broader challenge, suggesting that new entertainment projects sometimes become surrounded by public debate before audiences have a chance to judge the work itself.
Why wouldn't you want to go and thank them for coming on your show?
Yeah.
When they knew it was just going to be, horse twaddle, but they did it anyway. And the most interesting episodes were with them.
Right.
So you'd think you'd want to go and say thank you. Instead, you send your husband, who is, I'm sure he was perfectly lovely.
Another narrative promoted by some commentators claims that Netflix gradually began creating more distance from Meghan. According to that interpretation, executives may have been unhappy after public comments about expanding into products or merchandise connected to the partnership before official announcements were made. Those critics argue that the plans may have been presented as more advanced than they actually were. Then, according to the same speculation, expectations grew but little publicly changed, leaving observers to wonder what had happened behind the scenes. There was no major product launch, no pop-up stores, no carefully planned merchandise collection tied to the partnership. That lack of visible activity only fueled more speculation. Later, Meghan reportedly explained that she stepped away because the arrangement placed too many limits on the ideas she wanted to pursue. Even so, not everyone accepted that explanation.
Meghan decided to tell the world that she'd left because they were limiting her on what she could deliver. Matches. Right? So matches that you can buy already in the likes of Highgrove and all those other royal shops. Everything is borrowed from another idea. I know it's not easy to come up with something new, but ultimately, if you were going to go down the entrepreneurial route, as I said, is jam the right thing.
Instead, attention shifted toward the products she promoted independently. Matches, jams, candles, and other lifestyle items were presented as part of a premium brand image. Critics, however, questioned whether the products stood out from similar items already on the market. Some joked that expensive matches were still just matches regardless of elegant packaging, while others described the jam as an ordinary product carrying a celebrity name. The conversation grew even louder when Meghan's estranged half-sister reportedly commented on the brand, claiming Meghan had never been known for making jam and suggesting several ideas lacked originality. Whether those remarks were fair or not, they circulated widely online and added another layer of attention to the business. That background helps explain why the reported gift package generated such a strong response. As footage allegedly showing the recipient opening the parcel spread online, social media quickly filled with commentary. Some critics claimed he appeared to pay little attention to certain items, including the candles.
Look at their bloated salaries, look at their bloated legal fees, and really only about 200,000 pounds goes towards Warriors. Everything else goes towards the concert, goes towards setting up.
Others joked that the products should be inspected carefully, referring to earlier customer complaints that had reportedly questioned aspects of quality control. Some discussions focused on the packaging itself. Viewers debated whether certain presentation choices were practical, while critics brought up older interviews in which Meghan had spoken about lifestyle products she personally considered excessive or obnoxious. For some observers, that made the situation seem unusual. They argued that products resembling items she had previously criticized were now reportedly being included in the package. One generous interpretation shared online suggested the gesture may simply have been intended to create publicity. Less charitable opinions claimed the products were being distributed because critics believed enthusiasm for the brand had not reached expected levels. While those conversations dominated headlines, another member of the royal family attracted attention without making any public comment. During the same period, Catherine, Princess of Wales, attended a reception connected with a cancer charity, wearing a striking red dress decorated with delicate heart details.
So, Meghan, let me ask you a simple question. Are your children proud of you supporting a bully who has gone after Princess Catherine and the royal family? This bully has also targeted royal supporters, and you're sending care packages? Stop lecturing about anti-bullying and stop supporting them.
The vintage Rodart design immediately drew notice from attendees and the media alike. She did not address the surrounding controversy or issue any statement, and instead focused entirely on the event. She simply appeared and carried on with her engagement. The occasion also stood out because it marked one of Catherine's first major joint appearances with King Charles in several years, as both continue their respective recoveries following cancer diagnoses. One commentator described the scene as an outpouring of love in dress form. Notably, throughout the event, Catherine made no public reference to Meghan, allowing the attention to remain on the charitable occasion itself rather than the ongoing debate. For many royal watchers, that silence carried its own message. Some critics argued that the contrast between the two women had become increasingly noticeable, with Catherine attending public engagements and attracting enthusiastic attention while Meghan continued facing debate over recent projects and public perception. Supporters of Catherine often pointed to appearances abroad, saying the Princess of Wales consistently generated excitement and admiration wherever she went. Others compared those moments with reports about attendance at Meghan's events, although many observers acknowledged that such comparisons are subjective and open to interpretation.
The reason why they're not going is nobody wants him there. William doesn't want him there. King Charles doesn't want to hang out with Meghan. He wouldn't mind hanging out with Harry, except for now every time he hangs out with Harry, Harry's just needling him for something.
Some commentators even claimed Meghan had indirectly influenced William and Catherine's more relaxed public displays of affection in recent years. Catherine's supporters quickly pushed back against that idea. Catherine makes her own choices, they insisted. From that perspective, Catherine spent many years respecting the traditions associated with Queen Elizabeth II's reign, and now feels comfortable expressing warmth in ways that reflect her own personality. As one commentator put it, no lessons required. At the same time, attention has also turned toward another royal relationship. Reports have suggested that Peter Phillips, Queen Elizabeth II's eldest grandchild and Prince Harry's cousin, could be preparing for his wedding without Harry included on the guest list. Some commentators believe that whenever Harry and Meghan attend major family occasions, media attention naturally shifts toward them. According to that view, the original event can end up sharing the spotlight with wider discussions surrounding the Duke and Duchess, something a few observers speculate some family members may prefer to avoid. Critics argue this pattern has repeated before.
William and Catherine, yes, she's got it in her mind that they are constantly briefing against her because she's paranoid. But as you know, I always say just because you're paranoid don't mean they ain't after you. But I don't think they are in this case.
No.
You know, I think William and Catherine are like, we're getting on with our lives. next. And I think Meghan is just kind of like, they're plotting against me.
In their opinion, headlines, photographs, and online discussions can quickly become centered on Harry and Meghan, leaving the celebration itself competing for attention. Beyond family matters, another subject regularly returns whenever Prince Harry's charitable connections are discussed. One example is African Parks, the conservation organization with which Harry has maintained a long-standing association. The group has faced serious allegations involving members of Baka communities in Central Africa, with reports claiming that some individuals experienced abuse linked to rangers operating in protected conservation areas. Those allegations have prompted calls for accountability and further action from human rights organizations as well as public commentators. According to published reports, an investigation identified concerns that required attention, although some critics argued that not every question had been fully resolved. At the same time, the organization has stated that it remains committed to addressing the issues raised and strengthening safeguards and oversight moving forward. As a result, discussions surrounding Harry's association with the organization continues to resurface, with supporters emphasizing ongoing efforts to improve practices, while critics maintain that continued transparency and accountability remain essential topics in the wider conversation. For some of Harry's critics, however, those responses have not been enough. They argue that meaningful progress should be visible and measurable over time. Some believe Harry, because of his public association with the organization, could take a more active role in addressing concerns.
Harry and Meghan would have totally hijacked this event. I think it's easier and better for them to nip it in the bud pretty quickly. No, we haven't talked in years. Why would he be there? Versus people like us participating in the debate as to whether Harry would show up for this wedding.
Others disagree, saying primary responsibility rests with the charity's leadership and operational teams rather than with a high-profile supporter. Even so, critics often point back to Harry's own past comments about the importance of speaking up. They reference occasions when he suggested that staying silent in the face of injustice can be viewed as a form of betrayal. Because of that, some observers have questioned whether the same principles should apply in this situation. Another major topic is Invictus, a project widely regarded as one of Harry's most significant achievements. The Invictus Games were established to celebrate and support wounded, injured, and sick service personnel and veterans. In recent years, though, some commentators have raised questions about finances and the event's long-term sustainability. Reports connected with future competitions have mentioned possible funding challenges and sponsorship concerns. Some observers claim expectations for private financial backing have not always matched reality, creating additional pressure to secure resources. A recurring criticism centers on how funds are distributed. Some argue that a larger share should directly benefit participants, while others have questioned arrangements involving travel and accommodation for veterans who are no longer serving. Supporters of Invictus strongly reject suggestions that the games lack value.
Harry sitting down for his spare media, saying that silence is betrayal, talking about his family's refusal to defend Meghan Markle. And this is, if we're going to go by that quote, silence is betrayal, what the hell is this, Paula?
Right. Silence is betrayal to the Baka tribespeople who are being and killed. There
Right.
we go, Bear.
We're done. Mic drop.
They highlight the positive experiences of competitors, the strong sense of community the event creates, and the international awareness it has brought to the sacrifices made by military personnel. At the same time, critics maintain that asking questions about financial transparency does not diminish the importance of the mission. The debate has gradually expanded into something even broader. Some commentators argue that Harry appears more closely associated with the public-facing side of charitable work than with the less visible responsibilities behind the scenes. In their view, charity involves not only speeches, appearances, and events, but also administration, fundraising, oversight, and the many hours contributed by people who rarely receive public recognition. Others believe that criticism overlooks the important role public figures can play by drawing attention to worthwhile causes and encouraging wider support. As a result, even Harry's advocacy work has become part of the larger conversation, with different groups continuing to debate how public influence and organizational responsibility should best work together.
I am absolutely sick and tired of us, the 99%, being treated like fools when it comes to Prince Harry and his bid for taxpayer-funded security.
Commentators have revisited several high-profile moments from Harry's past, questioning whether symbolic gestures sometimes receive more attention than practical outcomes. Critics view those examples as signs of misplaced priorities, while supporters argue they successfully bring public attention to important causes. The divide between those perspectives remains striking. Questions have also returned about Harry's security arrangements during visits to the United Kingdom. Journalists and royal observers continue discussing what level of protection, if any, he may receive while in Britain. Official responses have generally remained limited, with privacy and security concerns often cited as reasons for not providing further detail. That uncertainty has encouraged widespread speculation online. Some people believe decisions have already been settled behind closed doors, while others argue that assumptions should not be treated as facts without official confirmation. The topic remains sensitive because it involves public funding, royal status, and Harry's decision to step back from working royal duties. As one observer remarked, if he'd been refused, he'd be shouting it from the rooftops.
Suddenly, Markle wants to take credit for the fact that Catherine and William are now more open, more lovey-dovey, more touchy-feely. Again, she wants to take claim to the fact that the selfies that Catherine recently took with people is all down to her. I would say, in my honest opinion, there could have been a bit of that, but also I think Catherine was respectful of what the Queen wanted. And now this is her time. This is a more modern time, and you make your own rules.
Whether that opinion is accurate or not, it reflects the skepticism that continues to surround many developments involving the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Around the same time, additional headlines claimed Harry and Meghan had become even further removed from Frogmore Cottage, renewing discussion about their ongoing relationship with the royal institution they left behind. At the center of these debates is a contrast that many commentators continue to highlight. One public figure speaks openly about kindness while facing criticism over reported associations and public perception. Another largely stays out of the conversation and is often praised by supporters for maintaining composure. Depending on perspective, people continue to interpret the same events in very different ways. That may be one reason the story continues attracting attention. Regardless of individual opinions about how the reported gift package reached its destination, broader questions about loyalty, accountability, reputation, and public responsibility continue to generate discussion. Rather than fading away, those conversations seem to return with each new headline and every fresh round of public debate.